We all here? Is this the group? Okay. We're in the lobby now. You've gotten off your bus or whatever, and you've used the facilities, and here we are. You'll come into this space, you'll get your audio wand, and you'll begin your tour. But as you're standing here, you're looking up above here, and you're seeing this large mural that's 40 feet, actually arcs. So it's 40 feet by 17 feet. And it is a consolidation of our story. It starts over here with the immigrants leaving Poland and coming to the United States, bringing with them their faith and their success over time, and then finally going back to Poland to reconnect with their roots. So it starts here and just broadly goes across a broad tapestry of the story that we're telling. Here on the fur down, oh sorry, I've got it here too as well. So here, it's just going around below here, all the way around three sides, are the names of all of the towns, the primary towns in Poland where they came from, and the towns they settled, the core parishes they settled here in Texas. So those towns are just going to be painted on this fur down in a beautiful script, separated by acorns, symbolic, of course, of the tree, the great oak. And at the top, they were agricultural people, most of them that were coming, not all, but most of them. We have the gifts of God, rain and sunshine, and below a montage or a little rhythm of crops that they may have grown. And this is just a detail of the crops. Detail in the mural, but here on this wall is our introductory movie. So you've received your audio wand, and now this movie is composed of 4 50-inch video screens butted, and it will explore the history of Poland very, very briefly, and bring us up to a core statement about our mission. And I'm going to read that to you if I may. Because, and I'm sorry I have to be going through this computer, but that's the way it is. It is the mission of the Polish Heritage Center at Pan Maria to celebrate the early immigrants and their descendants and all Americans of Polish descent by preserving the values, cultures, and tradition, and by recognizing continued positive influence of Polish Americans have had on the fabric of American life. So that's our message. That's our mission as we communicate through the environment. Along this wall, there is, at the center, will be a family prayer. This is an old Polish prayer. We're only going to say it in English, but it's called the family prayer. And then there will be 8 small monitors. They don't show on that one. They do show on this one. Here's our introductory movie here on this wall. Here's the 8 monitors separated by the family prayer. You only see 4 of them, but there are 4 and 4. And what those monitors will display will be images that we've collected in our scanning sessions. It'll be of the various people of the various communities. It will display the names of the more than 60 communities in Texas that have significant Polish populations. So 60 or more, and it keeps growing a little bit, but the names of all of these communities that have significant Polish populations. It's also programmable, so we'll be able to, for instance, if a group from Częstochowa is coming, we can welcome the group from Częstochowa. If a group from Falls City is coming, we can welcome that group on these programmable monitors. If it's a particular family, and we've got an archive of imagery, we can welcome the Kowaliks and have pictures that they have offered into the archive and be able to use those. Whatever the message is, it's a programmable thing. Daily, every day, the names of the cities and just pictures of people. So now I think we can move on to the, oh no, before we move on to the rotunda. Another thing that's integrated into these monitors. There's 4 on either side, and so between them, there'll be just a very small localized speaker, so that when you're in the influence, when you're just a few feet away from the monitor, you're going to hear sound. And what's that sound going to be? It's going to be these wonderful little recollections that we've collected that are just simple, wonderful stories that, and I'll read you an excerpt of one. And this is from Catherine Forrest Beard. I remember my friends and I sliding around on the wax dance floor in the church hall. We pretended we were dancing. My mother helped with food preparation. My father worked the beer sales. He worked long hours there without stopping and seemed to be happy doing it. I wonder why. I remember the huge pile of bottle caps on the ground. I mean, that's just, you know, so these stories are just a little snapshot of life during these early times. And that will be there. And when you get into the influence of it, you'll hear it. When you pull back away from it, you won't. So, now we can move on.
Before we go to
yes. Sorry, yes. Sorry. There is a major donor element across this wall here. This is the Heritage Circle donors. These are panels of etched glass. We do have a prototype that I didn't bring in because I didn't know if I'd be able to plug it in or not, but it doesn't matter. Prototype is just a little piece of it, and this is a very early sketch. We're going into more advanced sketches now, but these glass panels will be integrated with imagery and with other sayings, as well as the names of the Heritage Circle folks. And then as you turn the corner here, there is another donor area. This entire space in here, which is roughly 18 linear feet, will be dedicated to donors, and it will be dedicated to the societies that have been established. The Heritage Society, the Marie Curie Society, the Copernicus Society, the Kosciuszko Society. These names will all be displayed in this region. And some of those will be Heritage Circle members displayed again, because they're also part of this society. So this is a dedicated donor area here, and this side is an entry into the cafeteria. We don't mix it with donors, that's just how you get into the cafeteria. But this will be a very special environment. It will involve backgrounds of jeweled colors, some very beautiful dark mauves and greens and blues, and imagery and things happening on this first surface of glass. So it will be an intriguing and really beautiful space, as will these, of course, out here. So now we can move into the rotunda. If there are any questions, I can take them as we're moving. I've got another one here. This is the rotunda. Above you is a dome, and on the dome is painted. It's a painted dome. It's blue with gold stars, and it looks like
Heritage Circle for donors.
looks like this. So you'll look up, and you'll see the rotunda, and you'll see the gold stars with the rays, and then coming down, there will be a fur down along here that will go around the perimeter, and on that fur down will be the great commandment of Jesus Christ: go make disciples of all nations. And it will be in English, Spanish, and Polish. And here you see at the center of the rotunda, standing about where I am right now, will be an image of Cyril and Methodius, the patron saints of the East, of Eastern Europe, as dedicated by John Paul II. And you see it's on axis with the door. So this is indeed the spiritual heart of the center. and it will be, the two saints will be dramatically lighted. Behind them is a screen, a bronze screen. The screen is made up of, when you look closely, it's made up of crosses that overlap one another, and the negative space is also crosses. So the two saints, it will be a flat representation. They won't be they'll be three-dimensional, but they will not be figurative in terms of sculpture. They'll be flat, like an icon. But they will have about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of dimension, and then the border will be bronze. And each of the, right here in front of the saints will be a stanchion. And the stanchion will just tell their little story about them. Ringing the perimeter here, in each of these niches, which is cordoned off by the yellow tape, will be a painting of a saint. So, for instance, Cyril and Methodius close up.
Cyril and Methodius.
Yep. So, Saint Hedwig will be in this niche to start us, and then Saint Hyacinth in this niche, Saint Stanislaus in this niche, and Saint John Paul II in this niche. So as you go around from the patron saint of the region of Silesia around to Saint John Paul II, the first Polish Pope. And then back here, this is the temporary exhibit space where we have another structure right here, again, on axis. So you're on axis with Cyril and Methodius, and there's another niche back here, and this is the niche that will contain Our Lady of Czestochowa. So all these saints, and then all focus and access on Our Lady of Czestochowa. And then all of the stanchions that are associated with these niches will be text, etched into bronze. This will be a polished bronze with a border, and each of them has a little bit different configuration, so they look a little bit different. That goes with each of the saints, and that's where the story, basic story in text, will be told, English only. Audio stops will be, again, as I described, a little trigger. You'll point your wand at it, and if you want to hear it in Polish, you'll hear it in Polish or Spanish or whatever you've decided. But these stories are not the same as this. It's not just a reading of this information. They're a little bit of more of a story, and it sometimes involves character voices. So, for instance, and I have one here. Here we go. That I'll give you. This is Saint Hedwig, and she says, one of her quotes is, "The greater one is by birth, the greater one must be in virtue. The more distinguished we are in station, the more we must distinguish ourselves by our conduct in order to be a bright example to others." So this is this wonderful, gentle saint. When her son died in battle, she said, "We must adhere to the decrees of the Almighty, not only in days of happiness, but also in those of sorrow. I can only thank God for such a noble and righteous son." So we're using these words these kinds of words with each of the saints to try to get one to understand why these saints are important. That they are, as Father Vieslaw says in another part of the exhibit, they were ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So that's, in a nutshell, that's the excuse me, that's the rotunda. Now we're going to go into the main movie, which is right behind you. And really, this is just right now, you're looking at a room. So you don't have to go in there if you don't want. It will project on that screen up there. And I've got a few parts of the movie that I want you to hear in my words. But it's a 30-minute movie, and it starts with Father Mochagimba deciding to become a priest, or being enlightened to become a priest. And then following the settlers as they come to this country, and some of their thoughts. For instance, we didn't have any houses, nothing but fields, and for shelter only brush and trees. There was tall grass everywhere, so that anyone took a few steps, he was lost to sight. Every step of the way, you'd meet rattlesnakes. So, you know, they were in a difficult situation. They've come, they've walked all the way to Panna Maria, and now here they are with nothing prepared for them, and they had to make do. They had to live in holes and find a way to survive and make it through the first winter and then into their future. But there's another piece here, two more pieces, about the land. We go into the present day and we interview people about these communities. And one of those who we interviewed is George Kovalik, who said, you couldn't buy a piece of land in this area from anybody. There's no land for sale. It just doesn't happen. It's family land, and it's going to stay family land forever. And that's an attitude, that's a point of view of these people, these settlers and their descendants that has not gone away. This is their home. This is your home. This is your story. And then we also interviewed a farmer, Greg Mochagemba, and he has, this is all in the movie, by the way. He says, I grew up here. My dad farmed all his life. As a youngster, I can remember going with him anywhere, from feeding cattle to watching them plant the row crops, trying always to be with him, to learn whatever I could. You can go from whatever I could. You can go from drought, and then you're always looking for rain to come, and then some years the rain does come, and then it comes and stays over us. The rivers come out, and you go from almost burning up to watching crops in floodwater. But you never want to pray it stops raining, because once it stops, then it's hard to get going again. And then in the close of the movie, I mean, it's a rich visual and storytelling environment. I'm just giving you some snapshots and things to get your interest, maybe. At the end, we have a statement that says, they come to the church, they sing Polish songs, and they visit with family, friends, and neighbors, and remember those who came before. They share a special bond, a bond that began under the famous oath on Christmas Eve in 1854, and continues from generation to generation. And that's kind of our close to the movie. And then we're welcomed into the main exhibit space, which actually we enter through here, but we can only.
I thought it was through here, that there is
we
a
can go
door.
around. You can go around that way.
Oh, okay, but I think you're talking about during the actual flow.
It'll go this way.
I thought it goes through.
No, that's an exit. No,
No, there's a door here that moves into.
no, but that's not the main door.
We talked about moving
This
targets.
is the main door. You've got the theater on one side and the exhibit on the other. You can access through that, but that's the archive back there, and that's the back door.
Okay.
And this is the main door.
This is good. Look right
See
there.
that door? There's another door there.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No, not the main. So you'll come through this door, and
Is there a door right there or no?
that's the exit door.
That's the exit.
You enter through here.
Okay, gotcha,
So
gotcha.
I'm going to go around and meet you over there.
The difference between the last tour and this tour is the restrooms are all now operational. So, right, John?
Yes.
So
We have
anybody that
water.
needs to use the restroom, it's not just the one anymore. The women's room and the men's room.
But however, disclaimer is only the handicap stall in the women's restroom, which is the first one, has toilet paper. Because I was trying to find out what size holder what size toilet paper roll we needed. And there's a roll of paper towels in that one, usage paper.
We don't have catalogs in there.
It's a work in progress.
Well, the catalogs are limited too, so that one small one.
This won't be in the movie.
Yes.
Water's digital.
Water fountains, water is everywhere.
Well, we can just, I'll just meet you on the other side. I mean, it's going to be a little difficult because this is not.
Watch your step down through here, folks.